Greetings, fellow gorehounds, and welcome back to another Blood Splattered vlog. Alright, let's just, not fuck around here. I just got back from watching The Mummy, the latest Universal remake slash reboot slash pilot episode of the new Universal Dark Universe, I think it's called. Which is yet another attempt by a major studio to copy the Marvel formula because that's making the big bucks now, so we gotta have our own universe. Except, hold on, wasn't Dracula Untold supposed to be the pilot episode of this new Dark Universe? Did they just forget about that all of a sudden? Well, I guess when I think about it, if I made a movie as shitty as Dracula Untold, I would want people to forget about it too. Anyway, the point is they made a new Mummy movie, and they decided to cast Tom Cruise within the movie because apparently the star power of The Mummy wasn't enough to carry it. And for the last few months, I've been laughing at the trailer for this goddamn movie because it looks so fucking bad. It didn't look like a Mummy movie, it looked like Mummy Impossible. And I'm not just talking about the Tom Cruise part of the equation, it literally looked like a Mission Impossible movie visually, and it looked like it featured the kind of action slash stunts that you normally see in Mission Impossible movies, except this is supposed to be a Mummy movie. So needless to say, I was not looking forward to this movie, and I walked into it feeling pretty fucking cynical, and I am kinda sad to report that I was right. Now overall, the movie isn't as bad as I thought it was gonna be, but it is incredibly bland for the first 2/3 of the movie, and then becomes complete dog shit by the end of it. It's just so by the numbers, and there's nothing to distinguish it from other action blockbusters besides the Mummy part. And it tries to do this Guardians of the Galaxy style tongue-in-cheek humor, but it does it really fucking poorly. I feel like I laughed once during the course of this movie, but for the life of me, I can't remember what I laughed at. Because most of the jokes were really fucking awful and left no fucking impression. And obviously, whatever joke actually made me laugh was utterly forgettable. And on top of that, the big elephant in the room of this movie is that Tom Cruise is incredibly miscast. The character, as written on the page, looks like it's supposed to be a young smartass, but it's being played by this middle-aged actor. And one that, I'm sorry, doesn't pull off the smartass aspect at all. It kind of reminds me of Mark Wahlberg's performance in The Happening, and Mark Wahlberg is not a terrible actor, but in that movie, he was supposed to be playing like a smart teacher, but it felt like while you're watching the movie, he somehow translated smart to whiny, and you're just sitting there going, Mark Wahlberg, why are you talking like that? That's not a real thing! That's about how off Tom Cruise feels like in this movie. And I feel pretty bad because normally I actually like Tom Cruise, but in this movie, he did not work. Anyway, if I was actually going to say something actually positive about the movie, I would say that I really liked the creature designs. Throughout the movie, the Mummy summons these undead zombie creatures to attack the populace, and they all had this really beautiful Tales from the Crypt-esque design where they're all these shriveled up ghouls. And I really fucking liked that, even during the sequences where the zombies were obviously CGI. And I also absolutely loved Russell Crowe in this movie. I feel like he deserved a lot more screen time, though there is a point with Russell Crowe's character where they put some makeup effects on him that I kind of wish they went further with. The love interest in this movie is pretty bland, boring, and pointless. There's also a secondary comic relief character who is also pretty bland, boring, and pointless. And the Mummy herself is also pretty bland, boring, and pointless. And I guess that just kind of sums up this movie. It's bland, boring, and pointless. I don't know what more to say. Anyway, my fellow gorehounds, I'm going to include some sort of Amazon affiliate link in the description below, so be sure to click that. And with that all said, my fellow gorehounds, let us move on to the spoilers. Anyway, this movie opens up with a prologue of Russell Crowe's character discovering this tomb of these Knights Templar, and on the wall he sees these hieroglyphs which leads them to telling this backstory of this old Egyptian princess who was next in line to become the empress, but then her father has a son, so she makes a pact with Set for eternal life and then kills her father and then kills her brother, and then she goes to kill her lover with this ceremonial knife she got from Set so that her lover's body can become an avatar for the god Set. And together they would get married and rule over the entirety of planet Earth. But oh no, the high priests find out and they mummify her in the middle of Iraq for some reason. And then we flash forward to present day and Tom Cruise is apparently working for the military, except he's not, he's actually stealing from tombs. And he gets the Air Force to bomb this one insurgent village, and underneath the village there is a tomb. And then we're introduced to this young archaeologist who was apparently the person he stole the map from that showed him where the tomb was. And she don't like him because he stole the map after they had sex. So clearly our hero is a good guy. Except he's supposed to be a young military recruit, except he's not. He's clearly played by a nearly 60 Tom Cruise. I'm just saying, Tom Cruise, it's really noticeable that you are too old not only for this role, but also for that girl. So anyway, the two of them go into the tomb and end up uncovering the mummy's coffin. They take it out, Tom Cruise's best friend is bitten by a spider, and then they fly off to London. Except wait, they don't make it because along the way his best friend gets taken over by the mummy, and then a shit ton of ravens or crows end up slamming into the fucking plane and causing it to crash, with Tom Cruise's character saving the archaeologist by giving her a parachute and letting her fly out. But Tom Cruise stays on the plane and ends up dying. Except wait, he wakes up in a morgue. It turns out he's actually perfectly fine. Or is he fine? Because he keeps hallucinating the ghost of his best friend, who tells him that he is cursed and the only way he can become uncursed is to let the mummy stab him. Basically, he's been chosen to be the new avatar of Set and to be the mummy's new lover. But Tom Cruise don't want that shit. He's in love with this other girl. Also, he doesn't really want to die either. There's also that too. So the mummy emerges from the plane crash and ends up converting a whole bunch of people into zombies, and then infiltrates this one church that supposedly holds the ceremonial knife from the backstory. And that also has a backstory. Apparently, like, the Knights Templar stole a whole bunch of shit from Egypt. And to be completely honest, I was only vaguely paying attention to all the exposition because there's a shit ton in this movie, but I'm pretty sure I got that right. Anyway, because of Tom Cruise's connection to the mummy, he is summoned to the church, but he also brings the archaeologist chick with him, but even with her presence there, he is kidnapped by the zombies, and then the mummy tries to stab him with the knife, but oh shit, the knife is missing its jewel. Tom Cruise has a fistfight with the zombies in a really boring action sequence. They end up stealing an ambulance and then driving off into the woods, where they crash and are attacked by the zombies again, but oh shit, a whole bunch of like SEAL Team 6 guys show up. But wait, they're not SEAL Team 6, they're actually a group of mercenaries who work for Russell Crowe, who is apparently a part of this super secret organization in London that has been working to fight evil. And oh yeah, Russell Crowe, it turns out he's also Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. And I swear to fuck, based on Russell Crowe's performance in this movie, I really fucking wish they did that movie first. Just saying. So anyway, Russell Crowe reveals that Set is also the devil himself, he's also Satan, and he plans to rid the world of evil by allowing Satan into Tom Cruise and then killing Tom Cruise, thereby killing Set/Satan for good. But once again, Tom Cruise don't want to die, so this leads to a little scuffle, so you have a full-on fight between Tom Cruise and Mr. Hyde, and all the while the mummy is scheming to escape from the prison they put her in. So she escapes and unleashes a full-on fucking sandstorm all over London. Tom Cruise and the archaeologist escape from Dr. Hyde's facility, and it turns out while this is all going on, Dr. Jekyll's men have uncovered the stone that she needs for the knife, and it just so happens to be in the Knights Templar tomb underneath London. So at this point, it's a race to get the stone, with the mummy going after the stone so she can stab Tom Cruise, and Tom Cruise going after the stone so he can destroy it. And yes, my friends, we have pretty much reached the climax of this movie. This movie is incredibly fast-paced and really fucking rushed. Which fast-paced, I don't have a problem with, but rushed, I really fucking do. So anyway, the mummy drowns the archaeologist, and Tom Cruise gets in a fight with the mummy, but oh shit, Tom Cruise is also a thief, so he steals the knife from the mummy, and then goes to destroy it, but oh wait, shit, that girl is dead, and if I stab myself, I'll become the god of death, or Satan, I guess, which is apparently the same thing in this universe. So he stabs himself, and then kills the mummy, and then he uses his power to resurrect the archaeologist, and then runs off to find a cure for the evil inside, because he is way too dangerous to be around people. And then we get a sequel-baiting voiceover by Russell Crowe saying that sometimes we need monsters to fight other monsters. All I know is that I fucking hate that at the end of this movie, Tom Cruise becomes the new mummy? That's fucking stupid. Number one, he's not a goddamn mummy, he hasn't been mummified. And number two, he's also Satan? That's just fucking stupid. Why did you go through all this trouble to establish an actual Egyptian mummy only to make the mummy this random American dude? God, I can't believe this fucking shitty ending. Anyway, this movie is really fucking bland and boring, like I said earlier. It's not worth your time. I don't recommend watching it. And as it stands right now, this is one cinematic universe that is dead in the fucking water. But who knows, I felt the same way about the DC cinematic universe, and after Wonder Woman, I now have hope for it. So get your goddamn shit together, Universal. If DC can do it, so could you. And with that all said, my fellow Gorehounds, be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and don't forget to ring that notification bell so that you're notified of my videos immediately upon their upload. And as I always say, peace out, and I'll catch y'all later. Brought to you in part by a generous donation by the Center for Unease Control.